Hello and welcome back to SpriteGuard Plays Probability Zero. I've been experimenting around with a little bit with this game and also thinking about some stuff that I read on Reddit recently about glorification of violence in games and in culture at large, and I've been thinking a lot about violence in games, and I try to find interesting non-violent games that fit in with the channel, but there's a great many games that are violent and very few that are not violent, which I think is kind of an unfortunate situation because there are many more problems that cannot be solved with violence than there are that can. And so I've been approaching this game that's one of my favorites that I've been really enjoying pushing myself to do better and better in. And I've been doing pacifist runs, because you don't actually need to fight monsters in order to get a high score in the expert mode of this game. You only need to in the beginner and karma modes. So I've been trying to see if I can get a high score without killing any monsters, and that is a little bit of my way of rebelling against the just quantity of violence in games and the sort of ubiquity of violence in games. And I found it's a really interesting challenge because I can still level up by breaking open these star blocks, but I have to weave my way very carefully around the monsters, and so it's very difficult to level up, and I have to plan my routes out as I make my way down. And sometimes I can't avoid taking damage, but sometimes I can by making very careful jumps. I think this has made me a lot better at playing this game, at placing my jumps and weaving in and out of monsters, and also finding ways to jump downward without taking fall damage, which is one of my biggest causes of taking damage when I'm doing these pacifist runs, though I also hit lots of monsters and spikes because I still have trouble with those, and I should even be having more trouble with monsters because there's more of them, but I'm not getting near them, and so because I'm trying to avoid them rather than trying to take them on directly, I actually end up not taking as much damage from monsters as I might. But I'm still having a lot of trouble just because pacifist runs are more difficult. They're a bigger challenge, and to me that's actually really appealing. I like the challenge, I like handicapping myself in games, even games that I'm not very good at, like Probability Zero. And I like sort of the prospect of playing the game in a way that wasn't entirely intended. Now, when I level up, I actually get 1 health back, and I get some invincibility frames, so I managed to sneak through there without taking damage and actually get myself back up to 2 health when I was at 1 just a moment before. So that was a particularly good play. And I've actually been doing pretty well in general. I made it to level 2 just by breaking star blocks without getting any level ups from monsters. Now, this is the point where I started realizing that I maybe took the wrong skill, because punching through walls can be every bit as useful as knees or throwing stars sideways. And so it's not really clear to me yet which ability is the most useful, but I'm starting to think that punching through walls might be the most useful ability to take, because it will give me one more way of opening up star blocks and leveling up more. So I was really nervous about weaving around there, but I actually managed to find a way through most of that, and then I took some fall damage that put me back at 1 health. So I really had to figure out how I was going to navigate further, and then I hit the spikes, but I got a high score. That's not just a high score for a pacifist run, that's actually the highest score I've gotten so far. So I'm actually really encouraged by that, and I want to continue doing pacifist runs because they're a unique sort of challenge, and because they challenge the assumed narrative of video games and video game culture, and it's sort of my way of doing something a little bit different. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.